India has just missed a sugar export quota. The government permitted 1 million tons till September, but only about 7.75 lakh tons will actually leave our ports, a shortfall of nearly 2.25 lakh tons. At first glance, that may look small in a country that produces almost 35 million tons of sugar every year. But this is not a trivial number. It is a signal that India's competitiveness is slipping, that Brazil is tightening its grip on the global sugar market, and that livelihoods of over 50 million cane farmers are directly at stake. When India falters in sugar, it is not just exports that suffer. It is rural incomes, government finances, and our trade credibility abroad. Now the question is, why does this matter for India? Sugar is one of those rare commodities in India that is economic, social, and political all at once. Delayed farmer payments can trigger unrest in key states like Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Karnataka. Unsold stockpiles drag down domestic prices, forcing the government to intervene with subsidies or bailouts. And every missed export window chips away at India's image as a reliable supplier. So what may look like a few missing shipments actually cuts deep into both our domestic stability and international standing. To understand why India's competitiveness is under pressure, let's start with a concept called the Revealed Competitive Advantage, or RCA. The name sounds technical, but it's really simple. If you think about, let's take cricket. Imagine a batsman who plays across formats. His overall average is decent, but in ODIs he consistently performs better. That means ODIs are his natural strength, the format where he shines above his general record. Now apply this to countries. If India's share of sugar exports in the world is greater than its share of world trade overall, then sugar is our ODI strength, the place where we punch above our weight. For years, India's RCA in sugar has comfortably been above 1, proving that sugar was a natural advantage. But today, that edge is slipping. Cane prices are set politically and often above market levels. Logistics remain costly and inefficient. And Brazil is flooding the market with sugar that is $25 a ton cheaper. If our RCA drifts closer to 1, it's like saying India is no longer the specialist batsman, just an occasional pinch hitter. And in global trade, pinch hitters don't really shape the game. That raises the bigger question. If India loses its batting edge, what happens to the entire match? This is where another measure comes in, the Herfindahl-Hirschman Index, or HHI. Think of it like this. Imagine a bus with 100 seats. Brazil is sitting on 45 of them. Thailand takes 15, India holds 12. The remaining dozens of passengers, the smaller exporters, are crammed into whatever is left. Who really controls the bus? Clearly, Brazil. That is exactly how the sugar export market looks today. Economists use HHI to capture this concentration. And in sugar, it already sits at 0.345, which means the market is highly concentrated and dominated. The risk is clear. Every time India misses its quota, Brazil grabs more seats. Over time, one passenger not only takes up half the bus, but starts deciding where the bus goes. That's what happens when Brazil becomes the Saudi Arabia of sugar. Buyers lose bargaining power, prices swing wildly, and importing nations face weaker food security. India's role, therefore, is not just about our farmers. It's about keeping the global sugar bus from being driven by one player alone. Now let's focus on the domestic picture. Back home, the consequences are equally sharp. Export earnings are the ones that keep mills liquid. Without them, farmer payments get delayed. Piles of unsold sugar then depress domestic prices, forcing the government into subsidies or restrictions that cost taxpayers. Meanwhile, India's ethanol program has raced ahead. We've already achieved 20% blending 5 years before target. This is a remarkable achievement for energy security, but it creates a new tension. If too much cane is diverted to ethanol, our presence in sugar exports becomes unreliable. And for global buyers, reliability counts as much as cost. We are now at a time when the world needs India, and I will tell you exactly why. This is why India matters in the global sugar order. Without us, buyers in Asia and Africa are left almost entirely dependent on Brazil. That means more volatility in prices and weaker food security in poorer importing countries. For India, sugar exports are not just trade, they are soft power. Every shipment builds trust, diversifies supply chains, and strengthens our diplomatic footprint. When we stumble, we lose not just market share but also influence. So the question is, what must India then do? How do we safeguard this advantage? First, by cutting costs and raising productivity. Through high sucrose cane varieties, mechanized harvesting, modern mills. Second, by making export policy predictable, not the stop-start pattern that frustrates buyers. Third, by using ethanol as a stabilizer, not as a substitute. Fourth, by diversifying our markets, especially in Africa and the Middle East, while branding Indian sugar as consistent and high quality. And finally, by deploying trade diplomacy, pushing for fairer global rules so that sugar does not remain hostage to Brazil's dominance. The 2.25 lakh ton shortfall this year is more than just an accounting gap. It is a warning signal that India risks losing its competitive advantage, its market share, and its credibility. Next year's bumper crop may give us the chance to double exports, but volume alone won't restore leadership. To remain a true sugar power, India must defend its competitiveness, counterbalance Brazil, and rebuild trust. The sweetness of our future depends on whether we treat this as a wake-up call or quietly hand the driver's seat to Brazil.